Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited to see everyone today. It's Gloria said it's a beautiful day. It is totally a beautiful day. Today, my dogs are sunning on our deck because it's nice. It's not too hot for them. We had like massive downpour of rain yesterday, but today is looking a lot better. There's actually some sun coming through. Woohoo! Are there sun in your end of the world there? Anybody? Who has sun
It's
coming
nice and
through?
Yes, we
tempered.
have lots of sun and we're going to have a really hot weekend, it sounds like.
Are you? What's
Yeah.
really hot for you?
On Sunday, they're saying 37 and it would be 45 with the humidex. So that's really hot.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is huge. Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Do you have air conditioning?
Yes, thank goodness.
Wow. Because when I grew up in Edmonton, way back when, people didn't have air conditioning. My parents don't have air conditioning because it's not hot enough to have it for a few days of the year. And then when I moved to Toronto, we bought our first house and it didn't have air. And the very first summer, we had this air that it gets humid here, so it's this air that's just sitting and it's like heavy and hot, and no matter what you could do, you can't cool anything down. And so I would close all of the drapes. It'd be dark so the sun couldn't get in, so we kept it as cool as possible. In the morning you'd wake up and it would be like already 85 degrees out, so you couldn't even cool down overnight. So we lived in the basement for a while, and I thought, I'm not going through this again. I'm getting air conditioning at the end of the season. And so then September, October came, and it was like, this isn't that bad. And I forgot about how hot it was till I got to the middle of the next summer, and I'm like, okay, note to self, don't talk yourself out of that air conditioning. And ever since then, I'm like, yeah, no, not, I'm a fair weather person. I like, my air conditioning, although some places it's too much. I was in um, Orlando one time and it was so cold. You needed to like wear a winter jacket in the hallway of the hotel because they were pumping the air so much. So there's, this fine line. I keep it like at 75 or so. Anyway, so I don't think we're getting that hot, but stay cool this weekend if
And
you're in hot
hydrated.
weather. Are we going to get that hot, Helene?
Yes.
Oh,
We're
okay.
supposed to go up to the 90s,
All
actually.
right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the same as 37, but maybe
It,
it's going to come from
yeah.
Gloria and pass by our way.
I
So
don't know.
that's
Yeah,
why today, welcome, welcome everybody in the kitchen. Who else do we have
I
in
don't
the
know. We have
house?
two Zoom
Sherry and
users.
we've got two Zoom users. I think one of them's Patricia, right?
Well, Patricia's already renamed because I renamed
Oh,
her.
okay. All right. Welcome everybody to this edition of In the Kitchen. We are making some what I call summer sips. And so we need to stay hydrated. Actually, all year round, we need to stay hydrated. But I thought in the summer, it's a nice time to make something, a little extra, maybe an infusion, so you get a little bit of extra flavor in your water, or not just plain water. So I have some ideas on how you can jazz up your hydration. And I also want to say last week we did watermelon, and you don't need to necessarily get all of your hydration from water. There's beautiful things like I'm using cucumber today, and watermelon are very hydrating for us. And then the other thing I want to say before we get going, and I learned this when I did a project on the golden years and nutrition for the golden years. One of the things that happens as we age is our receptors for thirst actually dull. So we don't realize that we're thirsty or that we need the water. So as we get older, and not that anybody's old, but that's part of life is we're all aging. You need to make sure that you're mindful about hydrating and staying hydrated. So this is a few things we're going to do today, and I'm going to get where's my little recipe, because I know I'll forget to put something in my thing. So I'm going to do a couple of different versions. I'm going to do one where we can blend it I've got my food processor here, so you can do a blended version. Then you're going to get more of the pulp and the fiber from the fruits. And then we'll also do a couple of infusions, and I'm going to do a hibiscus tea drink. Okay, so we're going to start with a watermelon lime refresher. So that one I'm going to blend up. So I'm going to take, and this, Helene, you inspired this last week because you were talking about a watermelon drink. So this is kind of inspired. So I have some watermelon here that I have in cubes. I'm just gonna, so this has already got so much liquid, and I'm just gonna pour all the juices in there as well. It's been sitting, adding that. So that is probably a couple of cups of watermelon, and you can use more. I don't want to make too much because I'm gonna have all these drinks and I'm gonna be overwhelmed with drinks. I don't want to do that. And then we can take a lime and we're gonna juice the lime. I've got my juicer here. I've got a lime. Hopefully, so limes can be very hard. Like, look, sometimes they don't juice very well. So we'll see. If it doesn't juice, we'll do 2. This one seems to be okay. And limes don't really have the seeds. When I'm doing lemon juice, I like to put a sieve or a strainer under it because I do not like getting the seeds. So I'm just going to add, come on, my lime juice. And then I'm going to add some mint. So last week we used mint in our watermelon salad. So we're going to use some more mint. And I'm not a gardener. I would absolutely love to be a gardener. Maybe somebody can come over and help me learn how to really garden, but I do have fresh mint. So I'm just going to take some leaves off of here, throw them in here, give it a nice, like a mint flavor. I just love. I think I was saying last week when I'm mowing my lawn, there's some of the mint has crept into the lawn, and it's always, oh, my backyard is an oasis for animals. We are on a green belt, and we get lots of animals visiting us. We have rabbits that are laying their nests in our backyard, making nests, so they make holes in the ground to have their young. And sometimes they make the holes and they decide not to be there. So I had about 10 leaves. So my yard is not, okay, it's not the immaculate, beautiful, coiffed lawn at all. It's just a very down-to-earth place where the animals and wildlife can enjoy nature. So as I'm cutting the lawn, when I cut over the mint, I can smell it. It smells so good. And then we're just going to add a little bit of ice to it. Helene, I think you would like this, the ice. I know you like to add ice, so this might be loud. And then I'm just going to blend this, and I can add some water, or you could add, if you want it to be sweeter, you can add some maple syrup after. You could put in a date if you wanted to make it sweet with a date. It's up to you, but I'm just going to blend this up. And the watermelon is very liquidy, so that should give us the liquid. You could have beautiful containers to put your water in, and if you don't have anything, I love the mason jar, and these ones actually are decorative. So I always like the wide mouth. This is a quart size or a 1 liter size. You can just pop your juice in there, put it in the fridge to let it cool down. You could add some water to thin it out if you want, or you could add some soda water. So I have some sparkling water. This is my favorite. Sparkling water is my jam. And I know there's people who will say that sparkling water isn't good for you because of the carbon dioxide, but this is something where I think it's your choice. And I could talk a little bit about that later, but I wouldn't put the sparkling water in until you're ready to actually drink it. So I'm going to put that to the side. There's a nice watermelon. Again, you can thin it out by adding, oh, it's nice and cold. Oh, so good. Adding some water to it, or at the end when you're ready to serve it, add your sparkling water. So let's put that to the side. Yum. Now, what you could also do is take those same ingredients and put them without blending them and do an infusion of the watermelon and the mint and the lime. And if I was doing that, I would just put lime slices into the water, and then your cubes of lime, cubes of watermelon, and put your leaves of mint in there, and then let it sit, and you'll have another way of enjoying that watermelon lime refresher. And so this is a refresher that's made with whole food ingredients instead of, getting the stuff that you buy at some of the establishments that sell refreshers that are full of sugar and additives. My second one I'm going to do is a cucumber citrus cooler. So I'm going to get another jar. Not all my jars have the decorative stuff on the outside, but I'm just going to take another jar, and I'm going to take an English cucumber and just do some slices. And if my dogs were in the house, they would be like going gaga. They love cucumbers for me to be slicing it up. So I'm just going to add some cucumber. I'm not going to slice. So make sure you're washing, ladies, all of the outside of the skins on all of these, like your limes and your lemons and your oranges when you're doing this. So make sure you wash them because they're going to be in. So I'm going to just do that. Add that. We'll use this later. All right, we've got that. We're going to add a lemon. I've got a lemon. I'm hoping this one's good. So I'm just going to make some lemon slices. Oops, one more slice. When you're getting to the end, you got to be really careful. So we'll put that, add those to our jar. I can add a little bit of fresh mint. And guess what, ladies? I used all my mint. I was talking, I used my mint. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh mint to that. And then I could add my water. So this is filtered water in our house. So we do not use our tap water. What I did, because I don't want to have to think about it, I like to just go, and I don't like to have to do extra things in my day. So what we did is we have a filter at the base of our house that was installed to filter our water right before it comes into the house for showers and everything. And then I have the reverse osmosis, which adds back some of the minerals that I've put in here. So anytime that I'm using tap water, it's already filtered. And of course, the filter takes all of the good minerals out as well. So the reverse osmosis is supposed to add it back in. And there's a lot of ways that you can do filtered water. You can get like a Brita and fill it up. And like I said, I just wanted something that I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to fill anything up. One of the very highly recommended water filters is the Berkey, and it's pretty big, and you sit it on your counter. And I also know people who will buy like big things of spring water, that's purified spring water as well for drinking. Again, for me, I just want something easy. So I can take this and put it into the fridge, you want to let it infuse for a couple of hours, and then you're really going to taste that beautiful cucumber and lemon infusion and the mint as well in here. So this is another idea as well. You could actually probably put more, and For this one, probably because I've got a lot of cucumber and lemon, you could probably actually fill it up twice and still get a good use out of it. Beautiful. But that's something you could try. So that's number 2. All right. My number 3 is going to be my hibiscus berry refresher. Beautiful. Another jar. All right. So what I did is I made some hibiscus tea. So this is 2 cups. And what I did is I boiled the water and I have hibiscus tea. This is an organic hibiscus tea that I got at my local grocery store. I don't know if this is a Canadian or if it's also in the US, but this is a fair trade. It's actually distributed out of Canada, but this brand comes from California. And I know we have some viewers in California, and so I'm pretty sure you could buy this in the US. So this is herbal tea, and I like my tea strong, herbal tea strong. So I put 3 bags in here to brew it, and then I put it in the fridge. I just left the bags in until the end, and then I put it in the fridge and just let it steep and cool down in the fridge. This one I'm just going to add here. You could actually brew it right in the jar, honestly. Brew it right there and put it in the fridge. You don't need to waste any of your utensils or have to do more dishes than you need to. I'm all about saving time. And then I'm going to take some strawberries. I got some strawberries today. Just infuse them. And actually, if you want, you can always add the fruit to when you're drinking it. I'm just going to slice in some strawberries. And these strawberries I bought at the market, well, not at the market, at my grocery store, were our greenhouse, grown in the greenhouse. So I think they're local, but grown in the greenhouse. So that's interesting. I don't see that very often here. I think strawberry season is, I think, especially, I remember going to California, the coast on the coast around Santa Barbara area, and we had, it was about March, they were doing the strawberry. You could go to the farmer's market and buy like tons of strawberries. So it was so good. All right, so I've got some strawberries. We're going to add in some orange. Got an orange here. So this one we're just going to add in some orange. You could add as much as you want. I am not a big orange fan, so I'm going to probably go a little lighter on the orange. I think I'm going to just cut it into, 4. I'm just cutting it. And literally you could eat all this fruit after all of your veggies, so that it's not just for an infusion, but it's going to be something great to also enjoy with it. I can add in some lime, and you could add in a little bit of mint here as well. And we'll put the lime in. So some lime, I could cut that up too. Beautiful. And then I'm going to add some water. You could add in, this is where you could also do your sparkling water. And then let that sit for a couple of hours. This is the one I'm excited for. I love this. Oh, yes. And this is like when you go to the like Starbucks and that, they have the beautiful colors. So with the hibiscus, you get that color. And in all of these, if you like it sweeter, you can add a little bit of maple syrup to it to make it a little sweeter for yourself. And again, you can add in your sparkling water instead at the end after you infuse it. I could probably even add a little bit more there. So that's another version of a refresher. And my last one that I'm going to demo is another jar, a coconut citrus refresher. So I'm going to start with, I've got some coconut water here. And this coconut water, you can get, I don't know if this one is organic. This is what I found at the store. You can get organic, and also make sure it's not from concentrate. Or, yeah, so it's actually the coconut water. It hasn't been concentrated and then reconstituted. That's better. And the other thing is that this is an amazing, so a lot of our fruits like and vegetables like the cucumber are great electrolytes. So instead of buying those electrolyte drinks like Gatorade and stuff that are just sugar water with dyes in them, this coconut water is an amazing electrolyte. It's high in potassium and magnesium as well. So what am I going to do here? I'm just going to add some coconut water here. I'll start with a cup or so. We add that in. And then we're going to add in, we could add in our sparkling water. I'm going to add in some orange to this one, citrus. So we'll do the rest of this orange the same way. So if you're looking to put your electrolytes back into your body after a workout or whatever, these are great. Coconut water is an amazing way to get that back into your system. So good. And what I find when I do coconut water, it feels heavier and more filling than water does. Especially if you don't want to, you feel like you need something because you're kind of a little bit hungry, but not really, and you just want to take the edge off. Coconut water is great because it's a little heavier than water, which is why one of the reasons I like it. And it has a little different flavor to it. So we're going to add in that, and of course we're going to add in some lime. We could add in mint, but I got wild on the mint. I got to go out to my garden and get some mint after I can add into these things. Watch my fingers. Add in some lime. Boom. And I'm going to add a little bit more. I could add in some ice to this at the end. Let me get a little bit more lime here. I'm just feeling really summery. A couple more slices. And then, yeah, you could add the sparkling water to beef it up. I'm going to add more of the coconut water. I'll fill it up. And then what I'm going to do is when I'm having my refresher, what I'll do is I'll add a little bit of my sparkling water to it at that point. All right. Beautiful. Another one. I'm going to be drinking refreshers all weekend long. Ladies, I am working on my book, my second book. Right now, the working title is Restore Your Energy. And it's all about restoring your energy without adding any more to your plate. We're all busy. We don't need another thing to do. So we're restoring energy without adding more. So this weekend, I'm in a 3-day intensive to get the first draft of the book done. So I think this refreshers are going to come in handy because my group is out of Australia. I love them dearly, but it means that we start at 7 p.m. and we go till 3 a.m. every day. Okay, so let me see if there's any questions, and then I'm going to just do maybe a little bit, give you some other things. No questions? Anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
You're doing the recipes.
Yes, okay.
The recipes.
There.
Good, thank you.
They'll all come in handy this weekend for sure.
Yeah, and so yes, so maybe next week we'll do a gazpacho soup. That's a great one. I think I have a recipe for gazpacho if anybody would like that ahead of time. But yeah, gazpacho soup is really great. And refreshing when it's hot out. Nobody wants to be cooking, and that you can make a really refreshing soup. So I can see if I have a gazpacho soup. I don't think I have one here hanging around. Let me check just in case. but I know I've done it before. So somewhere in my repertoire. Yeah, no, I don't have one here, but that's good. Well, I love having these ideas, so we can do that. So another one you could do is take strawberry and basil, add in some lemon and your cold water, do your infusion. You can always do a blend if you want instead of, especially with strawberries and the watermelon, you can do the blends like I did with this first one. That's easy to do. And then take it from there and, just adjust the flavors to what you like because we're all like a little different. So this one is in this recipe, there's also a strawberry basil refresher. And the other thing, if you're doing the blended one, then you could use the frozen strawberries. You don't have to have fresh strawberries hanging around. And then you can mix and match and make your own summer sip using different fruits. You can use other berries, raspberries. Peaches are going to be coming into season pretty soon. Cherries, I've seen cherries
Yeah,
in
they're
the
out. They're
store.
so
They're out
good.
right now.
We've
And
gone
then
through like
different herbs.
so
Yes.
much cherries already.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bought I bought some last week for my kids. And then you could use a different herbal tea if you would like. You can we've already talked about uh, the hibiscus tea is great. There's coconut water, sparkling water, different ways. And like I said, as we age, we become less sensitive to our thirst, and we need to be more mindful of that. And I know at one point I talked to my dad because he had one of his blood tests came back that he was high in potassium. And the first thing that we did is ask him to be more mindful about drinking his water because we get to a certain point and we don't think we need it, or don't really have that thirst trigger happening for us. So we have to be more mindful. And when you're dehydrated, even mildly, that's where fatigue, headaches come in. You could have constipation, dizziness, difficulty concentrating. Your skin can be dry, and like anything else, it'll reduce your physical performance. You won't have as much energy either. So really important. And electrolytes help us to regulate our fluid balance, our nerve function, and our muscle contractions. Yeah, and one of the things that can happen when you're dehydrated, especially as you become more dehydrated, you can have muscle spasms or cramps, muscle cramps. If you start having that, that might be a thing. And some electrolyte full, plentiful foods that you can add: coconut water, as we mentioned, watermelon, our citruses, cucumber, berries, and leafy greens all can be very great electrolytes. So rather than running for the drinks in the store, you can make your own and just grab coconut water if you want. And then I have a little bit on the sparkling water.
I
Um,
love so
if
good.
I love sparkling
I love
water.
sparkling water.
Yeah, so the one that I have, where is mine? This is a Canadian brand, a PC out of,
I make my own too.
it's the blue. It's carbonated, unsweetened, and it doesn't have any sodium in it. It's a sodium-free one. So I use this one. You can buy flavored ones. I don't like to
Yeah.
get the flavored ones. I
The lime
like to
one is
just,
the lime one is good.
yeah, I just buy this
And
one.
then we
And
make our own
yeah, you can make your own with
soda stream.
a stream. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's really, if it's something that you're uncomfortable with, then you don't have to have it. But I like it. And if you have issues with bloating or gas, it could be the carbonated, sparkling bubbles are causing that. So you kind of have to watch that. And it's really just is something to watch how your body responds. This, I could drink a whole case of this every day. So literally, I
Yeah.
love like if I go to somewhere and the two beverages that when I'm like I really need a pick me up, if I have a hot tea or a sparkling water, it just is like I just feel so good. Anyway, So that's my take on it. You decide what
Mm.
you would like. So I think I am also going to be, so I will definitely do the gazpacho soup next week as we're celebrating summer. And then my plan is to get into some nerve, well, I got to say nervous system nutrition, talking a little bit more about amping up our foods in the morning. So our breakfast foods with some easy breakfast options. So that's where I'm planning to go. But I love to have requests too. So next week, gazpacho soup. Get ready for that. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, so enjoy your weekend. Stay cool. I'm going to be relaxing today in the daytime so that I'm ready to write my book tonight and tomorrow
Mhm.
night. I've got
Yeah,
my outline done.
congratulations.
I'm excited.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Yay. And
Yeah.
my launch date is going to be, I already picked my launch date. I learned from my first book so that I can make sure that I stay on target is October the 23rd. So
Oh, oh.
it's coming. We're starting
You
this
put
weekend.
pressure on yourself.
Why not, right?
Yeah,
I write about high achieving women, and I
yeah,
am a high
yeah.
achieving woman. Okay, I am. And I'm proud of it. I was talking with somebody and they said, I'm not a high achieving woman because I like what I do. And it's like, well, I love what I do.
Yeah,
And it's okay to be a high achieving, a high performing, whatever you want to call it, person.
yeah.
It's just
Mhm.
that we have to be mindful not to get caught up and end up in using stress energy with like adrenaline and stuff instead of our
Yeah.
real energy. So it's all
Mhm.
about that. So
Mhm.
how about making a sunflower cheese spread? Yeah, we could do a cheese day for sure. So I love that. And is that for a nut allergy? Because definitely we can do that. All right. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. And everybody, thank you everyone for being here today. Like I said, stay cool, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next week for gazpacho. Bye now.
Bye, Debbie. Bye, Helene. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.